Hey guys, I'm Roger Wakefield, Lead AP, the expert plumber, coming to you on YouTube Live. Man, I hope everybody is doing wonderful. Had a great weekend. We are getting things ready to go here on a Monday, and as you can see, and we're still changing things up, doing things different. It's going to be fun to see how we get through this. If we have any problems, hopefully we don't. But, we have in the past, like we say, tech happens. So we got Paul Peck Drywall Tube in here. We have Neil, Urban Explorers, in the house. Great having you guys in here. Man, we started up our little countdown thing today to try that and see how that goes. Do me a favor and let me know what you thought about it. If you saw it, if you liked it, if you didn't, if you just jumped in here. And man, this is kind of crazy. And I need to show y'all from my view one day. I've got like my vMix screens over here. So I got 2 videos over there. I've got my comments here that I can click on and bring in, which I love. And then I've got YouTube going over here, the live chat, so I can see what's happening there. How's everybody doing today, though? I'll make sure I get my cameras right. Man, how is everybody doing? And it's not lit up, so that's going to confuse me tonight. It's Monday. How's everything where you're at? And the reason I ask is Dallas started opening up last, I must say Friday, May the 1st. We are, man, may the 4th be with you. This is May the 4th. It's a great thing. And cool. I love it. People like the countdown. So I'm going to scroll down here a little bit. I want to jump in here and say hi to some people. We'll play with some comments here in a minute. It looks like, make sure that I get everything right here. Ooh, I can't find my time there. So I'm going to make it, there we go. Make it just a hair smaller. Perfect. And that would be the oldest one. So Paul Peck jumped in here, got John Doe in here from Minnesota. Fantastic. John said, here's a good question. Let me pop this in here real quick, and I'll jump back saying hello to everybody. So we got construction cronies in the house. You got to love that. So John Doe says, so with 3 years of experience, could I already walk into plumbing union in Texas and be a union plumber? Or do I got to take 2 tests and go through 2 interviews as well? And it's like, well, number one, with 3 years of experience, 3 years of experience as an apprentice or as a licensed plumber, that's going to make a big difference. And it depends on what the call is. Do they need plumbers right then? If they need plumbers right when you're in, it's possible, but, maybe not. If they're not looking for any plumbers, there's no need for them to bring you in. So that's what they're going to be looking at is, do they need it, or do they need somebody like you right now? And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but they may not have a need for anybody to come in there. So we got Paul Roger, have a great stream, everyone. Be in and out listening. Construction cronies in the house. That's fantastic. We got Jack's plumbing videos in the house again. Man, Neil, man, it is good to see you in here. I love the fact that Neil jumps in and, all the way from the United Kingdom. How's things going over there, brother? I hope everything is going well. And of course, he says hello to Paul Peck, just like everybody else does. So what's going on with y'all? What's happening in the world of plumbing where you're at? Because, man, it's going good here. Tyrese Tucker says, how much money does plumbing cost when you work in weekly? And I put a bunch. You mean how much does a plumber get paid a week? What is it? Plumbers here in the Dallas area, I think on the check in the union right now is about $33 an hour, so $1,200–1,300 a week. Brian Lee says, what's a good price for 2-way cleanouts? It depends on if you're on the buying end or the selling end. It really depends on how deep they are, where they're located, things like that. Anywhere from, I've seen anywhere from probably $900 by some really cheap handyman up to $1,500, $1,700, $1,900 for some that are 5 or 6 feet deep. So really it depends on where they're at and what all's going on. Brigsby Bear, how are we doing this evening? Says, hey, everyone, had a quick question if anyone would be willing to answer. I want to get into the plumbing trade and just got an interview for the plumber's helper, comparable to apprentice. Well, Brigsby Bear, and that's a great question because normally a plumber's helper's open shop, an apprentice is in the union. And I say that because, look, I used to be a helper. now in the union, I see that there's a difference, and it's the training, it's the education, it's things like that. But my question to you is, what kind of plumber are you trying to be, and is open shop or the union, either one, better for you? And I ask that because, do you know what kind of plumber you want to be? Do you want to be commercial or residential? You want to be union or non-union? Do you want to do service? Do you want to do new construction? It's a lot of different things there, but a great way to look at it. And then he adds, I don't want to sell myself short, but at the same time, you have no plumbing experience, and a family-owned plumbing company was offering plumber's helpers positions. And I tell you what, being a plumber's helper, getting started is a great thing. Wherever you get your opportunity, getting into the union in certain places isn't always easy to do. So I'd ask where you're located. Scooby HD, like that, depends on where you are located. In Texas, you can go to the Texas State Board website, register for your apprentice license, absolutely. From there, it depends on training or accumulating hours while working for a master. And man, you're pretty much right. So got a lot to check into there. And that's it, man. Where's everybody located? Because I've got people from, sorry to say, all over the country. I've got people from all around the world in here, and that's kind of neat. MP Templin. MP Templin. There we go. About to retire from the Air Force, really looking into applying for an apprentice with your local in Boise, Idaho. Anything you can do to better your chances of getting in. Absolutely. And, here's the thing. Number one, if you're about to retire from the Air Force, man, thank you for what you do. Really do appreciate that. Here's what I'll tell you is, number one, just being in the military betters your chances. And where are you wanting to end up? Who are you wanting to go to work for? And what I mean by that is, are you going to come to Dallas? You're going to go to New York? You're going to go to Miami? What does your plan look like? A lot of the different locals have different needs, different training requirements and things like that. Or I'm not going to say training requirements, prerequisites. Some want you to test. Some want you to do different things. But the good thing about it is, being in the military, I think that you've got a really good chance of stepping in and getting a good position. One thing I would tell you is check into the PIP. They've got or VIP, Veterans in Piping. They've got a program set up to help people coming out of the trades get into the union, and kind of a quick start program. It's actually pretty cool. I would definitely say check into that and see if you can find anything good there that'll help you. So anyway, hope that works out for you. Let me see. Yes, I am ready for today. Keisha K. Smith says, you smelled an odor called Atmos, said it's not gas. Okay, wait a minute. I want to get this right because I read this a while ago. I smelled an odor. I called Atmos, and they said it's not gas. I was smelling, but has to turn off because of the rules. Said to have a plumber out, and we'll turn back on the gas. How much is this going to cost? Number one, it's not going to be cheap, Keisha, because really, if they did turn off your gas, and to me, they should not have done that. If they tested it and said there's not a gas leak, there was no reason for them to turn off the gas, and I would be livid. Because if they did turn it off, now a plumber has to come out there, do a test, pull a permit, get it inspected. That's going to cost you $600 or $700. And I hate to say it because the plumber's got to come out there, put a test on, then pull a permit, then come back, get it ready for an inspection, then come back again after he's done and take the gauge off. So that's 3 trips for a plumbing company, and it's not going to be cheap. The bad thing is if they test it and there is a leak, then it's going to even cost you more money. But that's exactly what it is. Hate to say that, but it is what it is. Got Mr. Paul Peck in here, of course, saying hello to Neil over in the great United Kingdom. Good to have y'all in here. Big Gersh Will. Man, I know I'm messing that one up. Biggerish Will. I'm close. The UA has a helmets to hard hats program. Absolutely. Hires members of the armed forces right into the apprenticeship training program. Absolutely. Hello to Paul Peck. You got to love that. And Neil and Jack's plumbing videos is here. Man, we are all here tonight, and it's a great place to be. Let me see where I'm at and where I'm headed to from there. And I am figuring these new tools out, and we are having fun with them. TDs. Elbow cough, elbow cough. You got to love it. Okay, Barney Films 85. Hello, everyone. I have 3 kids. Wait, let me get this right. I have 3 kids, and the middle one turns 5 years old today. Got a small raise today, so looking like a good week. Man, congratulations to you. Number one, congratulations on 3 kids. I was the oldest of 3 children, and I've got a couple of older stepbrothers or a older stepbrother, older stepsister, older half sisters. Kind of neat. So come from a big family. So congratulations on him turning 5 years old today. And I say him, maybe a boy, maybe a girl. Middle one turns 5 though. That's pretty good. I like that. Amy Swanson says, I like the countdown. It helped me to prepare. Amy, I like that because I tell you what, we are constantly playing, and I don't know why that didn't pop up. So let me try this one more time. Boom, there it goes. The neat thing is we've had fun playing with this. We're working on different things, trying to make everything better, and we do it by, just learning new things and sending them where we can and doing what we can. So, I believe I got a camera bad. I love it when people help me out. Got to do that really often. So I hope I look much better now. I didn't have my glasses on, so if I look blurry, it's y'all's fault. You've been drinking too much. But then again, it is Monday. So thank you very much, Will. I appreciate that. And the countdown helped good. Jack's Plumbing says the same thing. Fantastic. I love that. Barney Films 85, love the countdown. I'm scrolling down here because I think, I'm getting behind quick. I'm getting down quick. Let me go back to the next page. Y'all jumped in real quick, and all of a sudden I lost a lot of people, or a lot of the comments. So, good vibes. You're here. Me too, a bunch. Man, we're going right back over here, and we're just going to run with it. I love this. I love this working on the new stuff because we are trying to improve our game. We're trying to improve the quality of our videos, and we've got a couple of different things going on. And I just wanted to show y'all a couple of them because I think it's kind of cool. So this Canon, or this camera I'm on over here is my Canon, and as you see, we got a pretty clear picture in the background, and I love that because you can actually read, "Love Thy Plumber." Of course you should. If you don't, there's a problem. This one's cool because this Canon, that focuses in on me. Will always tells me, put my hand up there. You see how cool that is? How it focuses in, and then it comes right back to me, or it's supposed to. So we're playing with our stuff, and as you see, I can bring in comments. I can do all kinds of cool things. So right here, and I don't know why, it's a little bit of a delay. Ricardo Escovel says, hello. How are you, sir? Good to have you in here. So we've got one in here from Algeria. Now, this is pretty neat. TD's Plumbery Group, you got to love that. Welcome to, where are you going to school at? Where are you an apprentice, or where are you a helper? And what kind of job are you on? Are you already on a job? Are you just getting to get started? Let me know a little bit more about where you're at and what you're looking for. And the reason I ask that is, as a first-year plumbing apprentice, you're going to learn OSHA. You should I think my first-year apprentices, I was teaching Introduction to Blueprint Drawings. That was pretty neat because it kind of gave them an introductory level to it. But OSHA, maybe soldering and brazing. I think the second semester we did blueprints, maybe math. I have people reach out to me all the time, and they're like, look, I'm really afraid of math, so I don't know that I'm going to get into plumbing. And the bad thing is, guys, there's not that much math in it. Don't get me wrong, there's some, and there's some math you got to get good at, but don't let something like math keep you from getting into the trades. And all I mean by that is look, we can all learn to do anything if we want to bad enough. And the right instructors, the right people should be there to teach us and help us learn and help us do the things that we do. So don't let something like that keep you from getting into it. So, Amy, what I'll ask is, where are you getting your training from? What kind of syllabus, or have they given you any kind of a syllabus? And man, just kind of interesting to see what you might come up with there. The local here in Dallas teaches commercial work. And in the first year, you can expect to learn OSHA, learn how to solder, but a year's experience on the job, you can learn a lot just being on the job with the right people. So I hope that kind of tells you something. If you answer some of my questions and I can help you more, I'd love to. So let me see. I want my muffin. Hey, thanks to your videos, man, I just booked to test to get your entry into the trade school for plumbing. All right. So then I'll ask you, just like I asked Amy, what kind of school you going to? What are you expecting to learn? What are they going to teach you? There's a lot of neat things. And look, I love plumbing, and I think y'all know that. The cool thing about it is you can do so many different things with this trade. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit right after I wet my throat. So, think about this. As a plumber, and Amy and I want my muffin, y'all are both getting into this. So I'm going to really talk to y'all for a second. Here's the neat thing about plumbing is you can get in right now as an apprentice. And in 5 years, you can be a journeyman. Well, that's really not where it ends. From there, you can go on to become a foreman, a superintendent. You can go on to become a project manager. You can become a safety person. My son is actually in the office in one of the biggest mechanical contracting companies here in Dallas, and he's an estimator. I've got another real good friend that works there and has for years that does BIM and CAD. And you can move up and really do whatever you want to do. And look at me. I got into the trades or into the union after I'd been plumbing for 17 years. And I became a foreman, became a superintendent. I moved up and eventually became director of operations for one of these union contractors before I got out. So you can really do what you want to do. You can move up. You can do all kinds of different things. And man, it's phenomenal. So anyway, let me know. I'm glad that you like my videos. I'm really glad that it helped you get into the trade. And I hope you stick with it and communicate with me and let me know, man, what it's been for you. Are you enjoying it? Are you hating it? And look, it's not for everybody. But again, what I'll say, especially to you and Amy, y'all may get in doing residential service work and decide, look, I don't like residential service, but you may love commercial new construction. So don't think that just because you're in a certain spot and you don't like it, that's all there is to it. Plumbing is a great career. The trades are great, and you can really do a lot of different things. Paul Peck does drywall. And if you go over and watch his YouTube channel, he does it better than most people do. And he's got a great way of teaching it to people. So, man, if plumbing's not your deal, look at becoming an electrician, a drywaller, an HVAC tech. There's a lot of different things you can do. Plumbing's just the best. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. Jack says, where I am in Wisconsin, they started using PVC in the late 1960s. Dallas, I remember using it in the early 70s. Early 80s. And I remember one of the inspectors here saying, look, we'll never use it underground, but they did. Paul Peck, absolutely. I want my muffin. That is fantastic. Good for you. Can't wait to get your certs and start your own business here in Ontario. And, I have people reach out to me from Canada all the time asking me about the trades. And I think you've got a red card or something like that. So, man, I'm excited for you. I think it's fantastic. I really hope it goes well, and I hope you get a lot out of it. So, to me, that's fantastic. Jack's plumbing video says, I was working on a toilet flange with someone, and when the person I was working with broke the flange because they tightened the bolts too much. Man, and you know what? Here's my thing is I'd rather see you, well, I don't know. So I say I'd rather see you break the flange than the toilet, but, the cost on them is, man, one's going to cost more, the other's going to cost more in labor. I'd almost rather see the flange get broke because if you've got another one there, you swap it out real quick. That's not too bad. And it is what it is. You want to be careful. Don't over tighten bolts. Remember, you got toilets coming down on it. You don't over tighten those, you'll break the porcelain. So there's a lot to them. Ricardo Escovel says, about to graduate high school, want to be a commercial plumber. Your dad is a plumber here in Dallas. Should I start with him in the company he works at, or should I start at another company? And I tell you what, Ricardo, that's a great question, because my son came to me right out of high school and he said, look, Dad, I want to come to work with you. And he knew I was in a union. He knew I made good money. But I told him, I said, Randy, you don't. And look, I don't mean this bad, Ricardo. You've got to think of yourself. My son he had a lot of learning to do, a lot of growing up to do. And I don't mean that bad. I mean that, man, with a father's love. I knew he was going to get in trouble. I knew he was going to mess up, and I knew he was going to mess up work. I didn't want him doing that with the companies that I was at. I didn't want him doing that in the union. So what I told him is look, why don't you go get a job somewhere else? See how you do. See how you learn. See how things go. And, man, he's glad that he did it, because he went and did those things, and he did. He got in trouble. He got laid off. He got let go. He got mad and quit. He'd call in sick or not show up. And it took him about 2 years, and he came to me and he said, Dad, look, I just want you to know, now I'm ready for a career. And God, he's been in the union for probably 15 years now, maybe a little bit longer, but he's done good things with it. And the good thing about it is he's still in it, and he's doing really well. So, man, I almost want to tell you, you might think about going to work somewhere else. That way you don't either, and you may be one of these people, if you know exactly what you want and you're going to get out and you're never going to mess up, you're going to show up on time every day, and you're always going to be the best person you can be, and it could work out great for you, Ricardo. Just if you think it's not, you might go to work somewhere else. That way you learn a little something first. Maybe it's a year. Maybe it's 2 years. Get mistakes, get being late, get anything like that out of your system. That way when you go to work with your dad's company, you know a little bit and you do really well. And if any of y'all think anything different, man, please jump in and let me know. I'm just telling you my thoughts. DB Mill 2005, you're in DFW, have a break in your sewer line within your front yard about 7 feet down, have a retaining wall. How much should you expect to pay? Man, it depends on if you're going to dig it, if you're going to let a dig crew dig it, if you're going to do a turnkey job for a plumbing company. I'm going to just ballpark a number off the top of my head at 7 feet down. Man, you could be talking $2,500, $3,500. And the reason being is you've got to dig a safe hole. You've either got to protect it with shoring. You've got to trench it back, step it back. You've got to do some different things. 7 deep is a pretty deep hole. Now, let me go back and ask you this, though. It's in your front yard and it's 7 deep. Is it down at the city tap, or is it in your horizontal main coming from the house? Because if it's in your tap, you might be able to get that done for free. So let me know where it is, and I'll tell you what I can. Sam Ham is in the house again. Good to have you here. New York City service, non-union plumber. Man, I love that. Good to have you in here, brother. All right, so Sam says, let me see what I can do here. When Master Plumber told you that, your Master Plumber told you that when he was a helper, his boss asked him to run down from the 6th floor, walk up if they were working in the basement to get a cup of steam and bring it up. You know what? And we've talked about things like that in here before. There's a lot of things apprentices get asked to do. Man, I hate to see apprentices go spend all day looking for a pipe stretcher and sky hooks and square couplings and things like that. Guys, hang out with me. I'll teach you what to look for and what not to. I want to help you. I want to help you not look stupid. Trust me, I've been there. I've looked stupid. So, yeah, don't ever go get a cup of steam for anybody. They really don't want it, I promise. I love that, though. Randy Hall says, I just started Just started your smallest plumbing company here in South Alabama. Your question is, how do you not seem like a cheap plumber, but also get jobs being so many of the same companies in the area? And Randy, this is a really good question. And I like it because it doesn't matter what size you are, no matter what size you appear to be. And that was a great lesson for me to learn, because when I started my company, I'm like you, small company. But I called a friend of mine that was in marketing at the time, and I talked to him about what he did, because he had built a company from nothing up to, I think it was 25 million a year. And I asked him what he did, and he says, and he goes in, he looks at my website, and he says, well, number one, you look like a little company. You don't look like the competition. I said, well, I'm not. I said, the competition does 70, $80 million a year. And he says, yeah, but you can look like you do. And that blew my mind. And he helped me rebuild my website. He rebuilt it for me. He made me look as big as them. And that changed things almost overnight, because people would tell me, I love your website. It looks as professional as anybody else's, but I don't see you on TV like I do those other guys. So I'm calling you. And that was a game changer for me. So Randy, what you've got to do is you have to literally try to be the very best plumbing company you can be. And that's always going to be number one. Try to be the best, try to be smarter, try to do things better than any other company in your area. And that's number one. That part is huge. Always look professional, always look better or as good as them. And as soon as you can afford it, man, get a website built that looks as good or better than anybody in your area. And that part will be huge. Thank you, sir. Amy says, let me get it up there. There, did it click? No. Now it did. Okay. Amy says, I have my local interview next week, looking to go into kitchen and bathroom remodeling or new construction. So, Amy, is this where you're wanting to start now? Is this what you're wanting to get into later? So normally kitchen and bathroom remodeling, that's normally smaller companies doing residential remodel, repair, stuff like that. Most people don't, or most companies don't focus on stuff like that, but it is a possibility. I would say for a woman, I love the idea of the kitchen and bathroom remodeling, because you're going to be able to have a vision that maybe a lot of guys don't. And look, I don't mean that bad in any way at all, so please don't take it that way. Normally women see things from more of a design point of view. And, I have customers that tell my guys when they're out on the job, hey, you pick out the faucet. I tell my guys, because we may pick something out that is more masculine, something like that. I think women have a great eye for things like remodeling and design. And don't get me wrong, I know some men that do too. And I tell you what, man, I'm one of them. I can walk in a restroom and say, hey, look, here's what I see. And luckily it's good. And I'll take a second and tell you a really cool story. How many of y'all here have ever heard of Neiman Marcus? It's a very nice high-end store here in Dallas, and very nice. I mean, like, Macy's, a department store, the ultra high-end department store. And if Stanley Marcus heard me say it was a department store right now, he'd roll over in his grave. But I worked for a company before I got into the union, and we did a lot of remodel work. And I went up to this house one day. It was over in University Park. And I had an old 1957 Chevy Apache pickup truck, and I had a fuel problem. And what I mean is my gas tank was old, and my filters on it were bad, so it would pick up a lot of garbage in the tank, and it clogged either my carburetor or the inlet. I guess it was really the inlet to my fuel line going to the carburetor. So after I'd drive a while, it'd get so much stuff in it, it'd die. So I'd have to pull over and sit and wait, 15, 20, 30 minutes. All the stuff would settle back down. I'd start up, drive again. And normally I could drive, 20, 30, 40 miles. And I kid you not, I pulled up in front of this house over in University Park, and I pull up and I go knock on the door. And this was about 20 years ago. Actually, it's over 20 years now. This is probably about 23, 24 years ago. And I knocked on the door, and this wonderful little old lady answered the door. And I said, yes, ma'am, Miss Marcus, and had no idea who she was. I said, yes, ma'am, Miss Marcus, I'm Roger Wakefield. I'm with so-and-so plumbing company. And This lady's looking over my shoulder the whole time I'm talking, like I'm not even there. And she just kept looking and looking. And I turned around and looked, man, this truck was rough. It was primered. It looked bad. It sounded bad. It ran bad. But she's looking over my shoulder, and she says, "Is that a 1957 Chevy Apache?" And I'm like, "Yes, ma'am." I said, "Look, I'm sorry. Do I need to move it out of the driveway?" And she looked, and she says, "No." She says, "I actually learned to drive, or I drove one of those when I was young. My dad had one." And she said, "I was just wondering, can I drive it around the block?" And I said, Miss Marcus, I said, "I'm sorry that it's got a 4-pedal start. It's got 3 on the tree, and I've got a fuel line problem. You really don't want to drive it." And she said, "Look, I just asked you if I could drive it around the block." And I laughed, and I said, "You know what? You can do that." And I handed her my key, and she even asked me when I handed her my key, she says, "Is it still got the floor start in it?" I said, "Yes, ma'am, it does." And what you used to have to do is turn the key on, put it in neutral, push the clutch in, and then there was a button on the floor you pushed, and that engaged the starter. And Miss Marcus, her husband, Stanley Marcus, one of the owners of Neiman Marcus, drove my truck around the block. And I was so freaking thankful to see her pull up in front of my house, or in front of her house when she finished. I was so glad that she made it back. So anyway, neat stories as to what you run into and what you see out there. But it's kind of nice because you never know what you're going to get to do. And where I was going with this, Amy, is that when I walked in her bathroom upstairs, she was doing a remodel, and she was trying to explain it to me. And I was able to talk to her and say, "Hey, here's what I would do. Here's the way it's laid out. Here's what I think I would do." And her and I talked for about 30 minutes about how to remodel her bathroom, and she loved it. So I think it's great. And, man, I think it's neat that you're going to get to do something like that. Bathroom and kitchen remodels are huge, and I think there's a lot of companies that could do a whole lot more with it. So, Mr. James Johnson, tell me what you think it is that's so interesting. Now, we come on here once a week, and we talk plumbing. If y'all have not, subscribed to my channel, ring the bell so you know when videos are coming out. Man, click over there and subscribe and ring the bell, because we put out new videos 3 times a week. We always talk plumbing, and I try to get in here every Monday. At 4 o'clock Central Standard Time, and we talk for about an hour and a half about plumbing. I say an hour and a half. I normally go about an hour. I used to try to go between an hour and a half. Now I try to go an hour and a half, and we end up talking and answering questions. A lot of times I even go later than that. But anyway, tell me what you think's interesting. I'm interested in that. Jack's Plumbing Video says we need more people in the trades. Amen. Andrew M. was union in Cali but moved to Ohio. Thought about rejoining. I think it's a good move, because I think as a plumber, as a welder, as a person in the trades, I think the union is good for you. If you're a business owner in the trades, I think it sucks. And I don't say that often, every time there's a microphone in front of me. And I don't mean that bad, but look, as a union company owner, it's hard on me. I pay the union a ton of money. As a union employee, oh my God, I loved it. It was great. And I say it was great because, look, benefits, training, education, everything about it's wonderful. As a company owner, man, I'm the one paying for all that, and it's tough. But, man, as an employee, God, I think the union is fantastic. Garrett Potts says, what is your suggestion on cutting cast iron pipes? At a job where I need to cut out a section in a small area, usually use your Sawzall, but wondering if there are other ways for small areas. Garrett, you really nailed it right there, because the best way is in a small area. Sawzalls are great. If you've got room, I love using a portaband. I've also got snap cutters. Man, I've still got 3 or 4 different pair of chain cutters, and I love every one of them. So kind of depends on where you're at and what you want to use. Okay, Jack's Plumbing Video says, why in different places they use PVC at different times. And the different things are, we got Neil jumped in here. Good to see you, my brother. Jack's, here's the deal. You can't use PVC in common air spaces because of the fumes if there's a fire. Some places use ABS instead of PVC. And, a lot of old school engineers still like cast iron in open air spaces. It looks better than PVC. So, man, anything is allowed as long as it's allowed by code. So there's a lot of different opportunities you have. John Smith, brother, ask your question. You ain't got to wait on anybody. You are good. So Dwindley says, I work for a pipelining company, SIP, okay, and growing a lot here, but wonder if I'm limiting my future by not moving more broadly into plumbing. Your thoughts would be greatly appreciated. Dwindley, man, here's what I tell you is number one, I think what you're learning is fantastic. The bad thing is if that's all you're learning, it's horrible because you need to learn plumbing. If you're going to get your license and be a plumber, this is just one little aspect of it. That would be like me saying, look, I'm a plumber, but all I know how to do is work on bathtubs. Well, man, if that's the case, I can never work on kitchens, on lavatories, on anything else. You've got to be cross-trained. You've got to learn different things. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't know what EPIPE is, but the cure in place, I do. And, man, I think this is great product, great technology, and I think a lot of it's the future of plumbing. But, man, I really think you want to try to figure out how to get cross-trained. That way you learn about every little aspect of it, not just slab leaks, not just, cure in place out in the yard or wherever. So Neil says, how are we doing on this fine Monday evening? I tell you what, Neil, we are doing fantastic. Hope you are doing well too. How are everything's over in the great United Kingdom? TD's Plumbery Group says, you went to college for 3 years, then to a training center and studied plumbing for a year. Now you feel plumbing career is better and I want to go with it. What do you think about that? Man, I think, what a better way to go. Look, plumbing is going to be around forever. And I don't know what you were going to college for, but most people that go to college don't get out and work in their field. They don't work in their trades, anything at all like that. So my thing is, I think getting out, if you know that, look, I'm not going to use what I'm learning here, and you think plumbing is your thing, man, jump all over it. That is fantastic. Do I know a local Texas plumber has been doing it for 35 plus years named Nick Gurr? I don't, John, I'm sorry. Where's Nick at? You say local Texas plumber. Texas is pretty big. I'm in the Dallas area. Dallas, Fort Worth, I've been around this area for a long time. I've also worked in Austin many years in the past, so there's a lot of different things that I've done, but not sure, man. Okay, so Thomas Curl says, what is your favorite software or apps for small plumbing businesses? You know what? We use Invoice ASAP. I really like SuccessWare 21. I think they've got a great product. I've looked at it. Service Titan's doing some good things out there. There's a lot of different things out there. It depends on what really software and apps you're talking about. Man, we use a lot of Word. We use a lot of Excel. We use just a lot of things around here, so pretty cool. So I told an apprentice last week, go tell Randy, superintendent's name, what you want on your burger so he can set the order. I love that. Now, that's pretty funny. I got to tell you. That's pretty funny. Got scolded. I bet he did. That's pretty good, though. I got to like that. MP Templin says, from what I've read online, seems like pipe fitter is more of a specialized job opposed to plumbers who have more areas they can work in. Seems like they would travel more than a plumber would. Thoughts? And man, again, we got some good questions in here tonight, and I like this. Here's the thing is, a plumber can work in residential and commercial. A plumber can do a lot of different things. A pipe fitter is all commercial. Now, man, it's hard to say which one travels more because at certain times it may be that plumber because they're building a hospital or they're doing different things like that. Then again, I got a young man into the union many years ago as a welder, and he traveled, God, it seemed like every winter he'd travel for 6 or 7 months, go up to like North Dakota and weld 7-8 days a week, 16, 18, 45 hours a day. It didn't matter. But this guy'd make, gosh, those 2 comma checks. There's a 2 and a comma or even a bigger number than 2. And this guy was making bank and putting it up. Then he'd come home and lag off, meaning he just worked for a company, but just put in 40 hours a week and not worry about it. But man, not a bad gig. He was banking. If I'm not mistaken, he was putting up 20 or 30 grand a year every year, just putting it in the bank. And man, what a better way to do it. Work for a while, put up some money, and then do good. Alas de Dios, the stash is always good. Just so you know, brother. I appreciate that. You know, look, we have fun at what we do. That's for dadgum sure. M. Templin says, about to be retired Air Force, looking to get into an apprenticeship with your local UA in Boise. And you know what, man? I hope it all works out for you. Man, appreciate what you're doing. Hope everything was well for you in the Air Force. Appreciate you giving your country your time. That's fantastic. Stan says, what's up, guys? Hope you're having a great day. Absolutely. Zach Kent says, as a service plumber, how much time do you think you spend on a ladder 10 feet up? Not much at all. As a service plumber, I may have to get on somebody's house every now and then. Not very often. It's not so often that I would let being afraid of heights worry me. You'll find out once you get up there and walk around, man, if you watch your feet, you're going to be fine. But every now and then, you may have to get up on a house to run a camera, run a sewer machine, something like that. And, man, just it is what it is. Neil says, it's interesting because you're a plumbing superstar. Now, I don't know which one of y'all he's talking about, but, you know, Neil's a great guy, and, man, I put a lot of faith in what he says. So, Neil, I appreciate you jumping in there, brother. Okay, so Mason Quinn says, going to interview for your local union next month. What can I do to increase my odds of being taken on? And, you know, Mason, man, that's a great question because literally just this morning, I believe it was this morning, today's Monday, we put out a video, what questions to ask on a job interview. And it's great because me being a plumber, that's how I looked at it. If I was an apprentice or a plumber applying for a job, I wouldn't just let them ask me questions. When it got to the end and they said, do you have any questions for us? I would say, absolutely. I want to learn, how are they going to help me get better? How are they going to help me grow? How can I grow into a position where I can better help them at this company? So go watch that. I had fun doing that. Man, there's a lot of good things to know and a lot of good things to ask. And I really think that video today was pretty good. Urban Explorer says, we're all okay over here, hunkering down and enjoying time off, and the world is healing. Man, and it is healing. Stan says, learn all plumbing there is. Nothing can't do in this plumbing field. It's best to learn it instead of specializing in one phase. Absolutely. And, we were talking about that a while ago on the CIP, the pipelining and all that. Don't get stuck just doing one thing. That's all you'll ever be good at. And I say that because I had a good friend that got into the trade, and they put him in a Connex. He was on a commercial job. He was a good material handler. He understood materials. He could receive orders, inventory things, get it in, get it out, keep track of it. He knew where everything on the job site was. But after 5 years, that's all he knew how to do. And when it came time to take a test, man, that was hard to do. So, be careful. Don't just get stuck in one position. It can hurt you. John Smith, I've been down in the Austin area a lot. It's been a long time since I've plumbed down there, but glad to see he's down there. I love Austin. Roger may be the most innocent man alive. Yeah, screw the trolls. Man, they're everywhere. It is what it is. They don't bother me. I don't let them. If they're picking on me, they're leaving somebody else alone, so I'm good with it. Sam says, I have degrees in finance and social work. Took you a while to figure out what made you happy. Now when you tell customers that, they laugh. And I say you fixed your toilet. How does that make you feel? You know what, Sam? I love that because, and I got interviewed today, and one of the questions I ask is, look, what's the greatest feeling about plumbing? And it's the fact that, I know that I'm taking care of people, and I know that I'm being honest with them, and I'm trying to do the right thing for them. But, the bad thing about it is, man, there's a lot of people out there that have been doing them wrong too. So I hate that, but I love the fact that, man, we get to try to do the right thing all the time. It doesn't always happen, but God, we get to try. And to me, that's fantastic. So Man, make sure I got the right one. There we go. It jumped. Sorry. Amy says, when should an ambitious and eager to please apprentice draw the line when masters ask them to do non-work related tasks? When is the master pushing the boundaries? Amy, it would depend on what those boundaries are. But my thing is, I don't know that you should ever cross that line and do non-union stuff or let me make sure I'm right. Yeah, non-work related tasks. And look, you're female. It's easy to see, so I'm not going to ask what those tasks are. But my thought is, I've asked guys before to go make copies for me. Hey, look, I'm out in the field. I need copies of a sign-in sheet. Will you do that? It's still work related. And man, if it's anything beyond that and you're like, hey, no, this is not work related at all. Yeah, I'd draw that line pretty quick because number one, I wouldn't want that reputation, not with your master or your boss, but not even with the other employees. So man, just don't let that line get there. But I got to say, I think the world's getting better and we're getting more and more into the part where we're trying to do the right thing, all of us. So man, good luck with it, Amy. If you ever got any questions, feel free to reach out. Bill says, been wanting to ask you, where's the best place to learn about septic systems? Work for a service plumbing company and we do a lot of septic work. Want to find a resource to learn more. I would get online, Bill, and check into that because me being a plumbing company, there's not a lot of septic systems around the Dallas area. And I know there are as you get out into the country, but most plumbers aren't licensed to work on septic systems. So I've never really done it. I can work on the plumbing leading up to and into it, but never on the branch distribution or anything like that. I understand it. I understand septic. I understand aerobic. I understand all that, but I've never had to work on it. So, man, I'm the wrong one to ask for on this. Wish I could help you, though. Now, here's a really good question. I like this. Charles Reeves says, how to adapt better study habits and be more successful in passing exams? And that's a great question, Charles, because that's one that I talk about in one of my videos. How do I use the UPC study guide to study for exams? And, man, I love that because I think I use it very well. But, man, I go through and I write all the correct answers in, meaning I look them up in the back of the book and go through and highlight them. And then I go through and just read that book forward. Forward and backwards, it seems like for 4 or 5 times. Then I'll go through and I'll cover up the answers and just go through and read the questions. And if that answer is not 100% in my mind, I mark that question red. And then I come back through the book and just read the red ones for a while. And I'm telling you, man, I don't know that there's a better way to study code. So I think that's fantastic. Good question. So M. Templin says, once you get your journeyman card as a union plumber, are there opportunities to become a foreman, project manager, superintendent within the union, or do you have to be non-union? No, that's how I moved up in the union. And that they do get paid more. I'm seeing your next question too. I moved up in the union. I came in as a journeyman and I got more licenses and endorsements and things like that. But, there's ways to move up. You get in, you do a good job. They moved me up to a foreman, then a superintendent, then a general superintendent, quality control manager, BIM director. I've done a lot of different things in the union, but I was always moving up and always doing good. So, and great questions tonight, guys. Great questions. Let me see here. Zachary Kent. Thank you, sir. The new construction job you just started. You're struggling not so much with heights, but the awkward angles you have to walk at being so high makes your knees weak. And Zachary, man, I get it. It takes practice, and it's not something you just jump up there one day and boom, all of a sudden you're not afraid of it. I remember first time I got up on a pitched roof that was pitched steeper than normal. Man, I thought I was going to drop a load in my britches. I tell you what, it's not fun, but you get up there and you get to moving around. You're like, okay, you know what? I think I got this. Still, just don't become overconfident. It will mess you up. I promise. Got Amos Cardoza in here. Good to see you. How are you this evening? Amy says it's not personal or sexual. Just get your just go get my dry cleaning. Yeah. I got to say that's one that I don't know that I'd be doing. I mean, Paul, y'all log in here and tell me what y'all think. I just, man, my thought is, and maybe it's just being nice and maybe trust you driving the car. I don't know what it is. But Amy, I just be call him aside one day and say, look, I just want you to know I feel really uncomfortable always being asked to go do that stuff, and be very polite about it and see what he says and go from there and see how that works out. Says donuts, you don't really mind because it's for everyone working, but the gopher get me away from the job and from learning. So, Amy, let me ask you this. Do you have the least amount of experience or anything like that? Is there a reason it's you? And I mean, I'm just asking because I literally have no idea. And of course, people are calling me right now in the middle of a live stream. It is what it is. So, yeah, just, man, I'd find a way to talk to him and ask him and see what's up, see if there's anything you can do there. Adam says Urban Explorer was good. Absolutely. Man, I love seeing Urban Explorer in here. Neil, got so many cool people in here. Stan says, looks like the meat shortage may be coming true. Wendy's hamburgers. Ooh, Wendy's is out of meat. Man, I have not heard that. And that breaks my heart because, man, my favorite burger one of them used to be Wendy's triple meat, triple cheese, pickle, mustard only. Man. Hello to Paul. You got to love it. Zachary Kent says that's a problem, Stan. You lost 170 pounds doing keto. Yeah. Beef is like water. You got to love it. What's the difference between union and non-union or open shop? Okay, we got a minute. We can discuss this. Union and non-union, or let me correct this. Union and open shop are the same. Or let me correct this. Non-union and open shop are the same. I knew I'd get it sooner or later. Union is just an organization that helps supply labor to signatory contractors, meaning they're only going to hire union labor. The good thing about it is the good thing about the union is the training program. They train their people, and I think it's a great education. I used to be an instructor in Local 100 here in Dallas. Loved it. Something I think I'm really good at is teaching and helping. And, man, it was good. Now I'm just trying to find more time to do it. But open shop or non-union, basically you get trained by the plumber you're working with. And hopefully you can end up with a good one. And I tell people all the time, look, I'm blessed because I am as good a plumber as I am because of some of the very first plumbers that I worked with. And, man, I think that I'm lucky because I learned how to do things right, how to do things, perfect, straight, plumb, square, true. And, man, that's a big deal. But open shop and non-union are the same. Union is its own little separate entity. Nothing bad about it. It's a completely different training program, and it's a different mindset. Normally, the union is commercial only, although there are some branches doing residential. I'm in the Dallas area, and I'm the only residential service company in the union. So a little bit different and kind of hard on me, but it is what it is. Cardoza, Paul, everything's gravy. Love that. Yeah, Paul Peck's doing some cool stuff. Guys, if y'all have not subscribed to Paul Peck, to Urban Explorer, and you need to make sure you go over to those channels and subscribe. They're both doing great videos, good stuff, and I love watching them. Love watching what they do. Big Irish Will says, never get comfortable at heights. That's when accidents are most likely to happen. Fear is a healthy thing. And, that's a good way to look at it because even though I said, look, you'll get used to it, I don't mean get comfortable at it. Getting up on a roof is one thing. Getting up on a roof and moving around is another thing. And doing it and not being scared, to me, that's crazy. Man, I'm always afraid I'm going to fall off of a roof. And it makes me be more careful. I look at the angle of my feet. I look at where I'm placing a sewer machine or a camera or something like that. And, man, I hired a guy. It was a commercial job. And actually, it was a Medical City Hospital here in Dallas. And this was probably 20, 25 years ago. And this young man climbed up a job site ladder up onto the top deck. He was going up there to help another plumber lay out sleeves. And he's up there laying them out. The plumber is. And this apprentice goes up there, and I told him, go up there and help him, hold a tape for him, do whatever. And I get a phone call, or a radio call, I guess at the time. I get a radio call from the plumber. He's like, man, look, you need to get up here. And this young apprentice had got up on the upper deck. He had started walking towards that plumber, and then I guess he looked around and saw how high he was off the ground. And, I mean, this guy froze up. This guy could not move. And I ended up going up there and had to talk to him and get him to come back over to the ladder with me, get him to focus on me, and, I mean, talk to him all the way down. And, I mean, it was scary because this guy did not want to be up there. And, I mean, you could tell. And, I mean, blood white. I mean, pure white. His face looked like as white as my shirt. He lost all the color, scared the mess out of him. It was tough. Amos says, hit that like button. Man, I like that, brother. Appreciate it very much. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're doing great. Owen, do you do anything to protect your body when you're working long days? Yeah, you know, man, we've got to, guys. We've got to try to eat healthy. We've got to wear PPE, especially with the coronavirus and all right now. We've got to wear masks. We've got to wear gloves. We've got to wear booties. We've got to do the things that we have to do to protect ourselves. And I looked over here. I see another comment. Amos is jumping out here. Amos, brother, good to have you in here. Appreciate you coming by. It's so good to see everybody in here. I know that things are crazy around the world. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. It's crazy. So, you know, do what you can to protect you. But Amos, I appreciate you jumping in here. You know, the world's crazy. Do what you can to protect you. Take care of you. Because if you're taking care of you, you're taking care of your customers and you're taking care of your family. And that's the most important part. So thank you. M. Templin says, thanks for all the great info. Can't wait to get the ball rolling when I get ready to retire in about 14 months. How far out should I start the process for an apprenticeship with the UA? I'll tell you what, here's what I would do. I'd try contacting the UA now. Try to contact, and I don't know what y'all call it. I was never in the military. Try to contact your person that helps y'all line things up when you get out. And you can reach out to me. I'll help y'all I can. Contact the United Association. Find out what they've got going on at that time. Where are they looking for people? Where are you wanting to move to? And see. There's two programs. There's the helmets to hard hats, and there's the VIP, the veterans in piping. And, man, I think that they're phenomenal. I think that is one great thing the union has done. They have set up an amazing system for people to get directly out of the military into the trades and make good money at it. And if you've got money through a GI Bill, it'll help support your pay while you're going through the apprentice training program. So there's a lot of good things there. I hope that you find something that works for you, brother. So I do appreciate that. Amos, brother, we will see you later. If you hadn't left yet, I appreciate it. If not, I'll see you next time. Fernando, man, I want to get this in here right. Fernando Urrutia. Hey, Roger, as a business owner working in the plumbing industry, what would you consider the most profitable service, specifically around residential service plumbing? Man, I almost want to drag up a stool here and like get on my soapbox because I feel like I might be here a little bit. And really, I'm just taking a little load off my back. Fernando, man, we can have an all-night conversation on this one. Here's what I'm gonna tell you. The most profitable service. You know, the thing you got to look at is the biggest cost factor in service is labor. And, you know, that one's really tough. Yeah, I want to make sure I got yours brought up. Good. That one's really tough because with labor being the most expensive part, boy, Most profitable service. What? Boy, lots of different ways to look at this. If you've got your pricing structure set up good, and there's a lot of companies out there that can help you set it up. If you've got your pricing structure set really good, and you've got people that are very productive in certain areas, say that I had just one guy that did water heaters, and this guy could do 4 or 5 water heaters a day, all day, every day. That could be a good cost productive job. Drain cleaning is another one. As long as you've got somebody that can get in fairly quick, get the drain clean, knocked out, run a sewer camera down there, determine if there's a problem, if there's a possibility of a break, a slab repair, a yard repair, anything like that. What different things can you do to put yourself in position to, and I don't want to say upsell because it's not really an upsell, but if people have a problem, that they need to be made aware of, is it really an upsell? Or are you just telling them, hey, here's what I did, I unstopped this, but you've got a break there. It's going to happen again. Let me go ahead and give you a price to make that repair while we're here. And I don't mean make the repair while you're here, but look, I'm here. Let me go ahead and give you a price. That way you understand. And here's why I like to put it that way is, tell you a story. And man, I'm telling stories tonight. So here's the deal. Doctor's going on his rounds at the hospital, and he comes by and he looks up at the sign on the door and he sees his patient's name. Well, the patient had come into his doctor's office the day before. And he walked in and, man, walks over and looks at him and says, man, what's going on here? God, is your arm okay? Because the guy had come in the day before and got his arm in a cast. And he said, yeah, doc, man, my arm's fine. He says, oh, thank God. He said, man, I saw your name on the door. I thought there was a problem. He said, no, doc. He said, there's nothing wrong with my arm. He says, man, I had a heart attack today and almost died. Doc says, yeah, I know your blood pressure was so high yesterday, we didn't think we'd get you out of there with a cast on before you passed away. And he says, well, why didn't you tell me? He says, well, you were just there to get your arm fixed. You know, and that's the way old school plumbers are. And look, guys, I don't have anything wrong with that because I understand it. You know, I understand old school plumbers. We want to get in, fix the problem, and get out. But let me ask you this, just like that story, just like this, you know, what's the most profitable thing? Is letting somebody know about a problem and giving them a price to fix it. Is that, I mean, I don't call that upselling. I call that being honest with a customer. And look, some plumbing companies will get mad at me and say, Roger, you should never try to sell stuff like that to people. And other plumbers get mad and say, well, you know what? You shouldn't, you know, unstop the sewer. You should just tell them it's broke and you should sell them a whole new sewer line. Look, I believe in doing what's right. So when it comes to the most profitable, I got to look at where can we do our job the best. So it's not like, hey, this is just a profitable thing and this one isn't. You've got to look at where can we train our plumbers to be better, to be more efficient, and let people know what's going on. Be honest with them. Because if we're being honest with them, if there's a break in that sewer line and we tell them, you know, that could be a profitable job. But it can be profitable because we went out there looking to unstop a sewer, but now we sold them another project. And we didn't sell it to them just to sell it to them, just to upsell it. We made them aware of a problem. We let them know all the options, and that's what they decided to do. And to me, man, that's the best way to be. Sorry, I'll get off my soapbox now. Thank you. Stan says, I don't do 2-story residential anymore. Was on Thanksgiving tower roof 2 months ago. 60 stories, man. I've been up there, brother. Matter of fact, not far from it, Republic Tower. I used to be up on the roof on that. Man, used to be up there, God, for like a year straight. So, but I love it. So, Zachary Kent says, I brought the concern to my foreman. I asked to use a scissor lift instead of a ladder for extending some hangers. He was able to accommodate. Just hope it doesn't affect your credibility being so new. And you know what? I think that most people understand that there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, look, with a scissor lift, I can get this done faster. You know, a foreman or a superintendent has to look at what's it cost for this scissor lift, how much time am I going to save? Because if that scissor lift saves you labor, it's worth it. Labor is the cost factor that kills any plumbing company. If I've got a set price for a water heater And I know that water heater should take 2 hours every time the guys walk out. But every time my guys walk out, it takes 8 hours. I'm going to lose money on every job because my price is set for 2 hours. So you've got to learn to look at it and say, okay, how do I do things better? And sometimes asking for a scissor lift is like, look, I can get this done in 25% of the amount of time with this tool. And if that tool is worth the value of saving 75% of your labor, is it worth it? Most of the time, it is. Danny Kane says a good service. Absolutely. Big Irish Will, lifts are way safer to use than ladders, and the handling of tools is better. Seen way too many tools fall off ladders and lifts. And you're right. And Danny, they fall off, or Big Will, they fall off both of them. So you are correct. Fernando says drain cleaning. Big Irish Will says wear PPE, fall protection. Seen it save lives in a trade. Man, I've seen PPE save lives every day. Man, whether it's glasses, goggles, gloves, fall protection, man, everything out there has its reason and a purpose. And guys, it's something that it's a big deal. Make sure you use it. I remember I was plumbing when OSHA first came around. We'd get safety glasses. We just put them over in our tool bag or something. We didn't need them. So, PPE is there for a reason. Make sure we're using it. Townsend Moore, things are going great, brother. Actually, it's good to see you in here. Hope everything's going well with you. M. Templin says, what usually type work does the union normally work? Sorry for so many questions. Currently deployed in Southeast Asia. And watch your videos on your day off, which is today. Thanks again. Man, I'm glad that I see it. I'm glad you binge watch them. You know what? Questions are fine. Like I said, love that you're over there taking care of our country. I appreciate that. Here's the deal is the union normally does commercial construction. So me being residential service kind of puts me way out of the ballpark. But there's things that I like about the union. I love the insurance plan. I love the pension plan. But these are things that take care of my guys. So to me, it's important to me. So MP Templin, tell me this, where are you going to be when you come home? What part of the United States are you coming home to? Mason Quinn says, your videos have helped me a lot. Appreciate all the guidance they have provided. Mason, man, thank you very much. Look, guys, we have fun doing this. I get to make videos to teach people about plumbing, whether it's people at their houses, whether it's homeowners, whether it's a guy trying to do a nice thing for his girl, whether it's a girl trying to do a nice thing for a guy. I get to teach people in the trades that want to be better. I've got different tradespeople. It's not just plumbers. I've got different tradespeople that watch my channel, that watch my video and comment and say, hey, Roger, look, and I've learned so much from working or watching you. I love it. If I can help an HVAC tech get smarter by wanting to be a plumber, I think that's a great thing. Okay, not really, but say an HVAC tech watches this, and I'm talking about the things you can do to be a better apprentice, the things you can do to be a better journeyman. Man, it doesn't matter if you're doing plumbing, electrical, HVAC, drywall. Man, if you try to be the best you can be, you're going to do well. And to me, that's what it's all about. So where did I go to here? So Mason, thank you very much. Zachary Kent, that's certainly a dangerous situation. You fall, you get hurt worse. Absolutely. Man, you got to protect yourself at all times. Fernando says, thanks for the thoughts, Roger. I'll keep that in mind. Love the channel. Keep up the great information. Fernando, thank you so much. Man, what I say is, look, if y'all hadn't done it, go and watch some of my videos. I want to help teach people to be the best plumber they can be or the best tradesman. It really doesn't matter. There's a lot of things I do that can go for any trade. But, man, look, if you're going to get a job and you're going to have a profession, why not try to be the very best you can be? And to me, that's what it's all about. So, Rhyme His Song says, what is green about your approach to plumbing? Do you ever have a customer Q&A live? Well, you're in it. Whether it's customers, plumbers, company owners, this is my weekly live Q&A. Anybody can jump in here and ask me anything at all. So it's a good question. What makes me green? And I don't know, I guess you can tell in that camera, Texas Green Plumbing. And I call myself a green plumber because I'm a lead AP, which is leadership in energy and environmental design. I used to be a member of Green Plumbers USA. I still think very highly of them. They teach a lot about water conservation and, man, smart, just water smart, everything about it. There's so many good things. I mean, to me, that was a great organization. So a lot of cool things, but me being a lead AP, that's a very hard thing for a plumber to do. But my thing is, I want to know more than most plumbers. I want to be educated. And man, I work my tail off for that education. So to me, man, what makes me green? Those two things are probably the biggest deals. Now, my company, the reason I named it Texas Green Plumbing, I want my guys to remember every house we walk in, we want to focus on water conservation. If somebody's getting a toilet replaced or a new toilet, is there a toilet that we can put in to help them save more water? And to me, that's huge. So anyway, thank you very much. Rama Song, man, I appreciate that because I do. I love doing the Q&As. Any of my customers are in here allowed anytime. I'd love to help them out. Danny Kane says, please don't stand under me. Absolutely. Stan says you can use that no fog up window washer on your safety glasses. Yeah, there's a lot of different things that you can do. The good thing about it all is, man, it works. Safety equipment works. And learn to use it. Learn to get comfortable with it. It's like me. I remember when seatbelts first became required. I would be like, you know what? I am never wearing a seatbelt. There ain't no way. And now we just get used to it. We put it on like it's no big deal. And it's not. We've just got to remember, hey, this is what is saving our life. But now we don't even think about it. We just jump in, seatbelt goes on, and we take off. How many of y'all are old enough to remember when we didn't have to wear seatbelts? Got to remember having cars that didn't even have seatbelts. They've been cut out for some reason. But now we just climb in, put them on. We don't even think twice about it. Safety equipment's the same way. When you walk on a job, you grab your hard hat. Man, I've got work boots on right now. There's some days I don't even walk into houses anymore. But it is what it is. So here we go. Here's a good one. And I see Miss Wakefield jumped in here. Good to have you. It says, Roger, how long have you rocked the handlebars? Perfect facial hair for a plumber. Currently have a stash and hoping I can connect it to your chin hair better as time goes on. You know what? I'd have to look back, but I think that this has been going on for about 10 years. And don't get me wrong. I know everybody can't, wear a stash like mine, but it's pretty cool. I love it. I get a lot of compliments on it. So I really do. I like it a lot. Thank you. Jake Vallis says, does your union give you a hard time about giving your guys overtime? My union does not mandate, recommend, require, or comment about the fact whether we do or do not give our guys overtime. We give it if we've got a need for it. We don't if we don't. Now, we're just trying to run a plumbing company. And if I've got people telling me I've got to pay guys overtime or I can't ask them to work overtime if we need it or whatever, that's just not right. We're just trying to do things right for all our customers, and that's a big deal. Townsend Morris is going to start drain cleaning solos soon. We'll definitely be using tips. Fantastic, Townsend. I appreciate that. Townsend, who'd you go to work for? I don't remember. I know you're here in the Dallas area, brother. Julie Wakefield, so glad that you made it in here. This is my boss, just in case y'all don't know. This is the one I report to every day, but that's a good thing because I enjoy it. M. Templin says, Boise, Idaho. Okay. Originally from Sour Lake, Texas. I cannot even say I've heard of Sour Lake, Texas. Most of your family lives in Southeast Texas area. Family trying to get you to retire out in Texas, but living in Idaho. Love the non-humidity summers and 4 seasons. Well, man, we got 4 seasons here in Texas, brother. You can just happen to get them all in one day. You act like that's a big deal. Come on. Rhymes' song, I have a linoleum floor, used shims at the back of the toilet to stabilize. Should I grout, caulk, or seal, or leave the base open? I love leaving them open. It's required by code that we seal them, that we caulk them. But on a linoleum floor, I don't know that it'll matter. Depending on how much shims you use, I would probably just take some white caulk, white dap around it. And you can grout it. I normally don't do grout on top of linoleum, but man, sealing off with caulk, something like that, no problem at all. Danny King says, how much wood can a woodchuck chuck? You said anything. A bunch. If a woodchuck can chuck wood. So see, I'm right there. Banana attack. How does plumbing translate overseas? Can I learn plumbing in the U.S. and get a job in Australia? And you know what, man, that's a good question, because banana attack, I would say probably so. Are there going to be things to learn? Man, there's things to learn here in Texas from county to county that people do different. There's things to learn in the United States from state to state. So there's a lot of good things. But my thing is, man, look, water goes downhill. You can't allow cross connections. There's a lot of good things. Over in Australia, and I think you said Australia. I'm trying to check, make sure. Yeah, Australia. They've got, I talked earlier about Green Plumbers USA. Over in Australia, they have Green Plumbers. And it was started, and if anybody in here is from Australia might correct me or guide me in the right way, it was started by the Master Plumbers, or, the Australian Master Plumbers Guild or something. But man, they are really big on doing things right and focusing on water conservation. So, man, I completely respect the heck out of that. Henry Maldonado, how are you? Live in Toronto. If you get your license here and would want to work in the U.S., would I need to redo your apprenticeship? Probably not, Henry. What you would probably have to do is talk to whatever state or city it is you're wanting to move to, see what their code requirements are, see what their licensing requirements are. Texas is one of the strictest states to get your license in the U.S., and I understand that. The thing about it is we still have reciprocity with some other states that have very stringent testing. So I would definitely check into it both ways and see what happens. It could be a good deal, and it could be pretty easy to do. So hopefully you can check into it and find something that'll work for you. Henry Maldonado got that one. Zachary Kent says, thank you, sir, for the advice, and everyone else who chimed in. What brand do you prefer for power tools? Man, it really depends on what the tool is. I use DeWalt, Milwaukee, Rigid, so many different tools. Man, one of my new favorite tools is actually around here somewhere. It's the Milwaukee Power Threader, and man, that thing is killer. I really like it. It does a lot of good things, but the neat thing is I can go out with a raggedy old tripod, and man, the way this thing is set up, it works, and it works well. So it's just kind of cool. Make sure, checking my camera again, just checking to make sure. Seeing if it's doing everything it's supposed to do. Let me jump back up here real quick. Townsend Moore says CNW in Louisville. It's a great company. You learn a lot there. Good for you. Now, Townsend, let me ask. I want to make sure. You were union. Are you still union, or are they union? Just checking, because I'm not sure. Danny King, good vibes. Always, brother. Always. So, M. Templin says, if union plumbers usually work commercial. Usually so. Most union plumbing companies, and I say that it really depends on where you're at. So check the area you're headed to. Most union contractors are commercial, and that's pretty much all they do. Me, I joined Local 100. I knew that I was going to do residential, but I also knew that I wanted those benefits for my employees. So I do see good things about it. But, man, there's a lot more things the union could do for a small commercial company like me. Danny King says, water runs the wrong way down under. Man, it may run the wrong way, but it still runs downhill. And if it runs uphill, I want to see that, because I haven't seen that yet. I understand it spins backwards. Man, That's because I think most people over there are left-handed or something. I hope Julie's still not in here. If so, I'm in trouble. Templin says, if union plumbers work commercial, usually how can you get experience in residential, new construction, or service? Here's what I will tell you. Remember, I tell you that I came up open shop. So in my 17 years prior to getting in the union, I did commercial, I did residential, and I did residential service. Actually did some commercial service too. So I got most of my residential and service experience before I ever got in the union. That's one of my problems with the union. I think that they should be training more service. They should be training more residential. The bad thing is the union really hadn't grown much in the last, 20 years. Maybe a little bit, but not much. The bad thing is they should be. They've got systems in place where they could train and have the best plumbers anywhere in the world, and I really wish that they would do that. I see a great opportunity for the union. I don't know that they want to grow, but that's up to them, not me. Rhyme his song. Do you prefer not to service the mid-city side of the Metroplex or okay with that? And that's really a good question because it's not that I choose to, that's really far out of my area. And if I'm going to do residential service, why do I want to book jobs that are 45 minutes away? So if I go do a 1 hour job, it automatically takes me 2.5 hours to do it. When in that same 2.5 hours, I could do 3 jobs as long as they're 5 or 10 minutes from the house here or from the shop. So it's not that we choose not to. We haven't grown big enough yet to go that far. But I'm telling you what, I turn down calls every day in the mid-cities, in Irving, in Arlington. Our phones are blowing up. I can't cover that big of an area, but YouTube can. And when YouTube sends people to me, man, we answer the phone. We just can't get to all of them. And man, if I could, I would. Let's see where we at. And guys, I will tell you, I'll start slowing down on the questions. We're getting ready to slow this puppy down and get out of here. I got to go home and see Mama. Stan Chubik says, yeah, Australia has to conserve water. USA will have tighten its belt even more on water conservation. Colorado River does not go to the ocean anymore. The water is harvested before it reaches it. And man, that is sad. It is sad, but we've got to start looking at water conservation as a country. We've got to start looking at water conservation as the world because there's only so much drinking water. And that's what we need to be focusing on. How do we save every drop of it? And I'm working with companies, believe it or not, to help do that every day. Townsend Moore says, we're non-union, tried to join Local 100, but they don't have any spots. And man, right now, I know things are tight. I don't know, and I say that. I don't know how it's going on the commercial side. I don't talk to the union much. They don't talk to me much. Kind of interesting to see how it's going sometimes. I know that at least our phones are still ringing right now, so we're still doing things. But, man, I hate to see when people try to get in, they can't get in because either there's not enough work or whatever it is. So, Townsend, brother, I hope things go well for you, brother. Rama's Song says, thanks for taking your questions today. Kind of cool to get experienced advice for free. Wait, for free? Did you not get the bill? And they were supposed to charge you before. And I cannot believe the billing system did not go up yet. I'm joking. Man, I love communicating with you guys very much. We are having fun, and we love doing what we do. All right. Stan says, boom. Stan says, whatever happened to the gray water ID on recycling water? I don't see the new subdivisions doing that. You know what, Stan? I've got rainwater harvesting. I've got the WSPS. I've got all that. I can do any of it. So no telling. I think they ought to get more into it, but they're not, but I wish they would. So M. Templin says, by your logic, going non-union, barring you're getting good training, is better to start there than move to the union, but the benefits training you get is better going straight to the UA. Here's what I'll tell you. I think going straight to the UA, if you can get in there, is great because I think you're going to get good training along the way. I think that, getting in there and then just going somewhere else or going somewhere else and then just getting in there, if that's the only job you can get and you're going to learn things, that's good. to me, any experience is amazing. Even if, maybe it's by somebody that you might not learn as well from, at least you're learning, at least you're doing, at least you're building that mental mindset to try to get things going right. There's a lot of different ways to look at it. I was open shop for 17 years before I got in the union. But like I said, I was really lucky because I learned from some of the best plumbers that there are. And I still say that. And I mean, I've seen some pretty good union plumbers. I've seen some great union pipe fitters, welders. I believe in the union. I believe there's a lot of great things in the union. But I also know that the PHCC's got a great training program. The CEF, the Construction Education Foundation, has got a great training program. It all really depends on, what it is you want to do, what it is you want to learn. My question is, at the end of the day, what kind of plumber do you want to be? And this is where I'm going to start wrapping it up, so I'm probably not going to answer any questions. But here's the deal. What kind of plumber do you want to be? Do you want to be the very best plumber you can be? Because it takes an education. And I'm not saying you've got to get that through the union. I'm not saying you've got to get it through PHCC, but you've got to be smarter than the other plumbers. And in order to do that, you've got to focus on your knowledge. And you do that by learning more. And, I've got the UPC code books. I've got the IPC code books. I've learned the multipurpose residential fire protection. I've learned the water supply protection specialist. I'm a master med gas plumber. There's so many different things that I can do. And Tim Cook, I'll tell you, watch my videos. Great place to start because I answer that question a lot of different ways. My path was 5 years, new commercial construction, then moved to service. Man, guys, it's plumbing. It's going to be easy for us to figure out. It's going to be real easy. Those of y'all that are in here now, if you hadn't done it yet, give me a thumbs up if you like what we're doing. If you have not subscribed and ring the bell, do that so you see the new videos we're putting out. I put out videos teaching you how to interview, how to learn plumbing, how to learn certain things about plumbing. There's a lot of different things that we do that will help you on your career path. Whether you're wanting to be the best apprentice, the best plumber, the best plumbing company owner, whatever it is you want to do, man, I'm teaching y'all how to do that. I've got experience doing it, and I just want to share that knowledge. And I really think the videos that we've put together can help a lot of people. So, man, I hope so. Guys, there's a lot of great things going on and a lot of great opportunities for people. Paul Peck, brother, you are the man. Love having you in here. Plumbing code book changes every 3 years, so keep an eye on it. And guys, keep learning. If you want to be the best plumber, best drywaller, best electrician, best roofer, it doesn't matter. Learn what you can. But get in there, learn, and, man, you'll be great at it. Learn it, figure it out, and do what you got to do. So anyway, guys, I have thoroughly enjoyed this. Paul Peck, brother, thank you for being here. Neil, Construction Cronies, Randy, Julie Wakefield, Will Rosebrock. Man, he got things taken care of. I love doing the things that we get to do. It's great. So, guys, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. We will see you next week. And if we're not connected on LinkedIn, connect with me. If you're not connected with Paul Peck Drywall Tube or Neil, the Urban Explorer, connect with him too. Hope it goes great, guys. I'm Roger Wakefield, Lead AP, the Expert Plumber. I'll see you in the next video if you don't get flushed.